Venture X from Capital One is the travel card for people always asking,
where next?
You earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars, and 5x miles on flights booked through Capital One Travel, and 2x miles on everything else you buy with Venture X. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
You ever feel something that's just crawling down your neck and you can't figure out what it is? It feels like something's being a pest. It's kind of bugging you, if you know what I mean. Well, maybe it's not actually you feeling like you're crazy. It could be a tiny little microscopic Avenger or hero, or as we like to think of him as, the one and only Scott Lang, Ant-Man himself. We're going to be talking about the top 5 Ant-Man moments in the MCU of Mr. Scott Lang himself, the Magic Man, you know. We're really excited to talk it down because we have Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania hits theaters, and we cannot be more excited for it. What we are excited for is talk about it on this podcast called Earth 894. We are a Marvel podcast where each week we dive into the MCU multiverse. We go through the quantum realm to pull you out what's going on with the latest news, rumors, give you some reviews on the shows and movies as they come out, and just kind of talk about some fun stuff like we are here tonight. Make sure you follow the podcast on your favorite pod player. Give us a review on Spotify and Apple Music. Rate it, you know, all that fun stuff. Let us know what you think. My name is Devin Stone, and I am so stoked to talk about all this because I have a lot to say about Ant-Man in some really good ways. Because I was not that big into the first Ant-Man movie. Really have only seen it less than a handful of times until lately. Because Louis, my favorite co-host ever, is the one who convinced me that Ant-Man is underrated. And so to hear his top 5 list and his thoughts and all the awesome stuff, and you're guaranteed to get a Wolverine slip in there somewhere. It's Louis Tonarini. What is up, man?
My name is Jeff.
That's not what I expected. So, Louis, for the people listening to the audio version, you just showed me a Mystique Funko Pop. Is this new in your collection? What is that?
Yeah, we'll get to it, but it's half Wolverine. You said Wolverine's name.
Ah, I didn't see Wolverine. That's pretty sick, dude.
Yeah. Half Wolverine, half Mystique.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Well, I think in the essence of time, let's just dive into our very beginning segment here because you have a Funko Pop that's new. Always like to hear about your little story and how you acquired it. And the better way to do that is through this segment called MCU for You. So each week we like to just kind of warm up the ice a little bit, talk about what's been marvelous in our week, days, however long it's been since Louie and I recorded. And so sometimes it means you got a new collectible to your item. Maybe you watched a movie or a show, or you read a comic book, or maybe you ran into a celebrity on the street, because that's totally not my story this week.
Oh, man. Who did you run into? I'm so excited.
No one. Louis, what has been MCU for you?
So, we've been sick at my house. I watched Avengers Endgame, and I thought I found a plot hole.
Interesting.
Loophole, plot hole, whatever the fucking word is. And I texted you about it, and I was so certain, and I was wrong. I was so wrong. But Clint's daughter, Lila, is played by Ava, I want to say, Russo, which is either Joe or Anthony Russo's daughter. Right? At the beginning of Avengers Endgame, she's shooting arrows with Hawkeye, and then she's dusted. You know, she's gone. So she's gone. But then later on in the movie, they show Hulk at the diner eating eggs or whatever. And then 3 little kids come up to take pictures with him. And one of them, I swear, was her. I was like, she got dusted at the beginning of the movie. Why is she at this diner? And I texted you, and I was like, I know that's the Russo's daughter. I know it. And you're like, that doesn't look like her. I was like, it looks just like her.
Mm-hmm.
I was half a person that day. We'll not go into it, but I was sick. So I was like, that's definitely her. And then I like went on to Google and looked it up, and it ended up being. So I think Lila is Anthony Russo's daughter, and those kids were Joe Russo's kids. So it was her
Gotcha.
cousin. And I was like, damn it. I was so close.
To
I
your
was
defense,
wrong.
they totally look very, very similar.
Yeah.
You had me questioning it for a second. I was like, wait, is that the same person? Because I feel like if they did use the same actress for that part, that would have been called out immediately at the time of Endgame. People would have talked about it probably nonstop. So I was
Yeah,
like,
I
how
don't
did
know.
that slip by?
It was so sad. Other than that, for Christmas, my friend Christina got me some Funko Pops, but she forgot them in her sister's car. And then through the month or whatever since Christmas, she finally got them back and she brought them to me. And she showed me the photo and she's like, yeah, I got all these Funko Pops for you. And I was like, hmm. And she brought them over and I didn't realize they're all from the Marvel Collector Core. And I was like, she had to spend $200 on these, like $30 a piece. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Wow.
6, 7 of them. I was like, this is insane. And so I messaged her. I was like, where did you get these? She's like, oh, an old coworker's just getting rid of his Funko Pops. He doesn't want them anymore. And so I just nabbed them. I was like, dude, these are awesome.
You had a good score.
So you saw the Mystique. She's on a stand that Henry broke immediately. So I have to super glue it back together.
Yikes.
Other than that, there is Nicholas J. Fury.
Ooh, that's sick.
And it looks like he's being dusted.
Ah, so he's holding the Captain Marvel pager.
Hand. I believe, yes. I have to.
That's pretty cool.
Take it out and get into it.
I don't know they made a pop of that.
Yeah, I didn't either until I had it. There's this thing. It's pretty cool. Loki.
Ooh, nice.
It's hard to see.
But 80 years collection.
Yeah. And he's got long blonde hair, long blonde ponytail.
Oh, that's yellow hair. Got blonde hair. Gotcha. I thought that was just part of like the cowl.
Yeah.
Or like the, kind of like Glorious Loki.
I think it is, but then he also has a big ponytail sticking out of the back.
Totally hair. Interesting.
World War II Ultimates Captain America.
Oh, that's cool.
That was one of my favorites. Like, this thing is sick. He's got the brown eye mask kind of deal on it, and the shield shaped shield instead of the circle shield. Another one of my favorites, I think you'll enjoy, is Cap sitting backwards in the chair.
Oh, from Homecoming.
Nice. So you got detention,
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
I thought that was dope. We're getting Wolverine. Let's go.
There you go. Good old Logan.
He's got the bone claws instead of the metal claws.
It's pretty cool, dude.
So I got quite a haul there.
Yeah, you definitely got a good collection, man. From that, it's cool gifts.
Also, I kept getting if you spend $50 at Disc Replay, you get a $10 coupon for like a week from now or a week from when you buy it to get you to come back, and it works. But I would just go back and I would buy $50 worth of crap and I'd get another thing. So I finally finished spending so much, and the last time I just got this Falcon.
Ooh, I like it. Retro.
Yeah, it's retro as hell. I thought it was cool. He's still got his little ears poking out of the white thing that you love.
Nice.
So that Richard picked up the She-Hulk comic cover Funko Pop for me.
Oh, sick.
I'm excited for that. I took a stop at the local Funko place that I go to called the Dragon's Den. They did not have the ones I was looking for, unfortunately.
Which ones are you looking for?
There's a Spider-Man Walmart exclusive.
Right.
That's super
Hard to find.
It's not super hard. I mean, sure I could find it, but it's like $50 everywhere I look on the internet. And then there's a Thor Walmart exclusive that's also expensive as hell.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just dropped another Wolverine comic cover and a Hawkeye shooting Ant-Man on an arrow comic cover. And I'm positive I'll buy those as well.
Damn, man. Yeah, you have your pretty cool assortment. I've actually went and displayed your comic cover Funkos along your basement ceiling. It's pretty sick.
You're going to see them in person in a few weeks.
Heck yeah, man. I wonder why I will.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. Also, I worked a lot on that. And
nice.
We have kind of a list and we're working on it.
Yeah. What list are we talking about? We're being ominous? Well, we'll give you a hint because we're going to talk about it anyways. We're getting ready for a very epic return of the Multiverse of March Madness. And so season 2, as we're dubbing it, maybe, is looking pretty promising. Louis been working his tail off to make sure we have one of the coolest matchups this year. So it's not just a repeat of last year, so we don't get the same results. We have a lot of new characters that have entered the MCU, especially with last year alone in Phase 4 ending. So we're being very inclusive to kind of diversify a little bit. And so not only are we doing that, we're trying to make this a little bit more fun. So if you want to really catch up on the details and do not want to miss a beat, because trust me, we'll give you a little hint right now. February 18th, that night you should clear a couple hours because it's going to be a good time. So make sure you're following Earth 894 podcast on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or join our Discord because we do all the kind of first round announcements there, since that's a little bit more of a tight-knit community. But also, if you're into collecting and all that fun stuff and want to see all these cool Funkos and all the other cool memorabilia, check out our Discord Collectors Corner channel. It's really awesome. And you can get all that awesome stuff just by going in the show notes of today's episode. We got everything linked and organized there, so it saves you all the hassle of having to search for it on your own. But sorry, Louis, I interrupted you. Was there anything else you got going for your MCU for you? That's probably about it that I could think of off the top of my head. How about you, Devin? What's been MCU? Hey. So for me, man, playing a lot of Marvel Snap. Season's almost over. And they just added a Battle with Friends mode. Officially, you can actually play one-on-one with friends. You can't add friends. It's more like you start or host a match, and then you got to send a code, and it's a whole thing. But what's cool about it is now we can face off with friends in a cool battle mode. So, plug in the Discord again. We have a way to hang out with games and stuff like that. So, we'll probably try and do maybe like a little fun tournament or something like that at some point. So, go check out the Discord. More reason to. So, I've been playing a lot of Snap, trying to rank up, but also watched good old Ant-Man. A lot of Ant-Man prep for today's episode. So, rewatched the first movie, and there's a lot of stuff I did not remember off the top of my head when thinking about the movie. Like there's Darren Cross is talking about some Hydra agents who are there, or Hydra affiliated people, when he's trying to do like selling the suits and a bunch of other stuff, which I love because it's brings me back to Phase 1 days. Some other funny moments and stuff, but overall, it's been a good kick. I'm enjoying it. Also, it's not totally Marvel related, but saw Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and I must say, movie's freaking good. Puss in Boots.
It sounded like you said Piss in Boots.
Piss in Boots? Now that's a movie. Definitely worth seeing.
Oh, shit. That's hilarious.
Now, the sequel, Shit in Boots? Even better.
So did you genuinely like Puss in Boots?
Dude, honestly, it was good. I tear up and cry and everything because I'm soft. But that movie got me. I told myself I will not get emotional. And I got freaking emotional like the last 10 minutes. It got me. Got me, man.
Those damn cartoon cats.
Dude, but what's funny about it? The reason why I bring it up too is because like I think it's been said a while ago. They're working on a new Shrek movie or something, or maybe they didn't. I'm sure they are. But um, like, there's a lot of Shrek movies and specials, and then there's all these Puss in Boots movies and shows or whatever. So, like, someone asked me, I told them like, "Oh yeah, I saw the movie, it was great," and they're like, "Do I have to watch all the other Puss in Boots movies before I go and see this?" And it just makes you think, like, cinematic universes, and my like I'm on Letterboxd. You guys can follow me, Devin the Stone, I think, on there. I wrote my little review for the movie. I was like, I can't wait for the next installment in the Shrek cinematic universe, the SCU. And I'm just thinking, man, maybe if we ever want to do a spin-off podcast one day, really try and cut through the noise, we launch the Earth 895 and we do all Shrek cinematic universe movies. Puss in Boots, Shrek rewatch, like, it's ogre time.
Got to save
great.
my ass.
Oh, I'm not wearing ladies' underwear. Are you? No. Dude, Shrek is fucking amazing. But also that movie, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, it swears in the best way possible, and they actually do bleeping, and it's fucking hilarious. So yeah, go check out this movie in the Shrek cinematic universe. Let us know what you think.
So who was the celebrity you saw?
That was a joke. I was like, maybe you saw a celebrity in the streets, because I did it.
I
think you missed that part.
I think you're holding back.
No, believe me, if I saw a celebrity in the streets, I would have totally told you. I would not have shut up about it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a celebrity in person? Just like not at a convention, just totally bumped into, or like random?
No.
Could be an athlete too, or
I don't expect a lot of people to know this person, but I almost met Jens Pulver at a very, very amateur MMA thing at the SeatGeek Stadium, which is about a stone's throw from my house. Jens Pulver is a former UFC lightweight champion. And as I was reaching out to shake his hand, the security guard was like, "You guys need to go now." And I was like, "Oh, wow, man." So we got kicked out.
That stinks.
And yeah. Other than that, no, I've never met any celebrities.
Wow.
Wow.
I'd love to meet Owen Wilson.
You just hit me with the wow.
Wow.
No, but I saw John Bernthal with you. You didn't meet him. I just saw him.
Yeah, that's cool.
From afar.
Wow, that's him. Sometimes it's like I laugh when you're at conventions and stuff and you just see like the celebrities just signing at a distance and everything. And it makes me think of like people who go to the Grand Canyon. They're like, wow, I made this big trip. And then they stand like at the edge and they're just looking, they're like, wow. Okay, now we go home. Just because it's, wow, that's the site. That's them.
Holy shit, that is John Bernthal. All right, you want to go to McDonald's? I'm starving.
That's exactly what happened.
Oh, goodness.
Oh,
goodness me. Do you know who does the voice? Do you know who does the voice for Puss in Boots?
Antonio Banderas.
Antonio Banderas.
Hey. So many good ant names. So many good ones. Yeah, let's get into it. Before we get into our top 5, though, this is so relevant because it actually came out today at the time of our recording. So just a really, really, really short news piece.
News or footage. Keyword
Marvel News.
So what's going on, right? One of the best things I love is this random marketing. And, Paul Rudd is so goofy and just so funny. Adding to his character, Scott Lang, is just basically Paul Rudd, right? So today, Marvel posts this really funny video of, I guess, Scott Lang reading a book, and it's titled Scott Lang, Look Out for the Little Guy. It's Paul Rudd presents Scott Lang's new memoir. And it's literally, the video is like saying, this is legit. It is actually real. No, this is not a joke. This is real. So you can pre-order for like $26 right now. It's a book that is literally Scott Lang's memoir. So it's an in-universe book that we, out-of-universe, people can buy. And it comes out September 26th, which is the same time when the official Marvel, the entire timeline book comes out. Same date, or September 5th or something. So 2 new releases, but it's just so funny because literally it's all just writing about his life as a superhero and an Avenger. It's a bestseller. So this book, I believe, is actually supposed to be referenced in Quantumania. So there we go. We get to actually get a piece of the movie in a literal book. I think it's like 286 pages or something.
If I read books, I'd probably buy it.
I was going to pre-order it. And then I stopped because I was like, I don't think this is going to get sold out. I think I'll be able to buy it at Barnes & Noble. I'll be fine. And I'll probably be moved by the time this comes out because my lease is ending months before that. We're trying to move out of here. So odds are I should not even do this because I'll have to remember to change my address and I will 100% forget. And then someone else will get my book. And then I'm going to feel like a dumbass because of it. I speak from experience. But yeah, so it's on pre-order. Go ahead and get it. The book features over 20 short pieces exploring different aspects of Scott's experience as Ant-Man, as a dad, as an Avenger, and as an everyman looking back on some incredible life moments. Together, they capture the heart, humor, and humility that have made Scott Lang a beloved character among fans. So, as funny as this is, I'm actually really curious to see how it might actually add some details into the actual MCU canon, because it's all his perspective. So maybe we get stuff that happened that actually wasn't on camera or wasn't a scene in a movie, like them just getting ready before the fight in Civil War or before the time heist. So that's the kind of stuff I'm looking for, just a little funny anecdotal stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna buy this, but I'm buying that timeline book 100% because that is a must have. There you go. That's all the news I got, Louis.
Boom. You looking for this?
So, this is the main topic of tonight's presentation. We're talking about the top 5 Ant-Man moments. So, literally all it is just Louis and I are going to go to and fro, starting at number 5, all the way crawling up like an ant you see in the movie to number 1, which is going to be our favorite. But we'll also do some little shout outs, talking about some honorable mentions from people in our Discord who suggested some cool, funny moments. And so we'll dive into it here. Louis, before we start sharing, I'm kind of curious. So the moments for Ant-Man, do you find there was like a type of theme when you were getting all your moments, like somewhere more like actually him as a hero or more as Scott Lang?
Mine are just funny quotes that Scott has said, basically. That's just Scott. That's just Scott. That one's kind of Ant-Man. That one's Ant-Man. And that one's just Scott. So 3 of mine are actually just Scott. It's just Paul Rudd being Paul Rudd. And then I have a few in my honorable mentions that are Ant-Man-y.
Dude, yeah. I realized like a lot of my moments, like if this was Spider-Man, right? It'd probably be like a really lot of cool, like very heart-focused and like core Spider-Man stuff. But then just, I'm thinking of Ant-Man. I was like, is this list right? Am I doing this right? Because it was all just funny things. And then I'm like, I watched a 12-minute video of just like all Ant-Man moments. And it's literally all of his best stuff is just him being funny. And then I was like, you know what? I'm starting to appreciate the character more. I'm really liking it. I found myself laughing more. And that I don't do often on stuff I've rewatched. So it made me really excited for tonight's discussion.
I feel you.
So do you want to kick us off?
So at number 5, I have a moment that probably gets overlooked, but it was pretty funny to me. Was I want to say it was an Ant-Man and the Wasp because he was on house arrest and Jimmy Woo comes in Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
And at the end of the movie, he goes, "I'm going to get you, Lang. You just wait for next time." Or he said, what does he say? "I'll be back." Or he says, I'll see you again, Lang. Then he goes, "Why?" And he goes, "Just like when you mess up, I'll see you again." And he goes, "Oh, I thought you were asking me to get dinner or something." He's like, "No, I just meant like you're going to mess up and I'll be there. I'll see you again." Then he starts to walk away and then he looks back. He goes, "Do you want to get dinner?" And then Scott's like, no, just get out of my house.
He's like, yeah. Oh my God, that was funny.
So that is my number 5 was a combination of Scott and Woo, where he was so certain he caught him, the big giant Ant-Man suit hitting up against the wall and everything. And not the wall, the skyscraper. I guess it's still a wall, but
right.
And they're rushing. They're like, "We got his ass this time." And he's just made it back in time. And I'll see you again. Why?
This is so funny because, like, what do you do in that moment? It's like, huh? It's so anti-joke. That was a good one. Good one to kick us off. And now I'm laughing. I want to go watch it again. For my number 5, I am kicking it off with fighting the Falcon in the first movie, the first Ant-Man movie. So the whole premise is that you have to go steal a bit of older Pym tech at Avengers Compound, which I thought was just an old warehouse until Scott and his army of ants are just like zoning in on the actual compound. And then they're like, you said it was a warehouse. Like, this is a problem. Like, what the hell, man? They're like, oh, abort. And he just goes, I got it. But the whole fight with Falcon is pretty funny just because it's like the first time we get to see him actually go inside a suit and kind of rip it up internally. Because that happens again in with Iron Man's suit and stuff in Civil War. And then same thing with Endgame. So it just kind of showed a theme there of what to come. But overall, it was a pretty funny fight.
He says, I don't think he can, I don't think he can see me. I can see you.
Yeah, he's like, oh. And then just like the commentary is so funny too, because like he's like, oh, well, I'm found anyways. And then he like goes to normal size, trying to figure out what the hell Scott Lang is doing there. He goes, hi, I'm Scott. And they just and the Pims are just like, did he really just say his freaking name?
Yeah.
And they're just like, shut up. Like, dude, the one thing I've taken away from my rewatch earlier this afternoon of the first movie was Hank Pym is an asshole.
Oh, absolutely.
Hank Pym sucks. I'm not gonna lie. He just straight up sucks.
The What If episode makes a lot more sense now, huh?
It kind of does. You have a point because he's just such a fucking asshole to Scott all the time. Like, I get it. He's bitter about a lot of things. And it's also just great acting on Michael Douglas's part. But every time he just like always talks, it's always him just being so annoyed, so just frustrated, and just like old man yells at cloud. And sometimes it's like, I just like, I would love if there's an okay boomer joke towards Hank in Quantumania. I would laugh, but it just cracks me up. And sometimes it's unnecessary that he gets like he's just so rude to Scott. So it was just made me laugh. I'm like, man, this guy sucks.
You said old man yells at cloud, and that made me think of that song that was really popular a few years ago, where the video is just like there's a few old like country men up in the sky, and they're just like, you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know.
You would know it. You're an internet guy. You would know it if you saw it.
I am there. I am online. Gotta connect to the web.
So I'll go on to number 4. For my number 4, I have in Avengers Endgame. Scott shows up to the Avengers compound or Avengers Tower or wherever the fuck they're at. He's talking about time travel and this and that. And then Cap, I want to call her Scarlet, which is just wrong. Cap and Natasha are like staring at him, and he's just like, oh man, is anyone going to eat this sandwich? And he just grabs her sandwich and just starts going in on it.
Yep.
And it's like such a Scott thing to do because they're like in this big serious thing. And he's like, I am starving. Is anyone going to eat this sandwich? He starts eating her sandwich. It's made me laugh.
That was a pretty good moment. That reminded me too when Scott first gets recruited in Civil War and they're talking outside the van and everything. And he's like, whoa, you're Captain America. Whoa, whoa. And he's like looking around and Scarlet Witch is behind him. And he just looks back. He's like, oh, you're great too. And then just goes back. And it's like, I never noticed like Wanda, she has like this kind of smile like, oh, I'm great. Because given earlier in that movie, she accidentally just murdered a bunch of people. And she's not feeling great. But Scott's just like, oh yeah, hey, you're cool too. And just keeps talking, just like so genuine. It just made me kind of appreciate that moment a little more.
What's your number 4?
So, sticking with the theme of Civil War, my number 4 is that moment when Scott, I think he goes to Cap, he goes like, hey, throw this. And it was at Rhodes, I believe. And he throws that truck and it explodes and they get so pissed. And he's like, I thought it was a water truck, but it was clearly like the gasoline truck or whatever. And he's like, oh shit. Because he's like, all right, now I'm pissed. Like, it just cracks me up because this is like just so on character. It's like, oh, I have a master's degree. Like, in the beginning of Ant-Man, dude. Like, you are right. Ant-Man is actually a really good movie. Baskin Robbins is like, what are you going to do, man? Like, you're out of prison now. When Luis talking to him, he goes, man, I'll be fine. I have a master's degree in electrical engineering. And then he's like dealing with that idiot at Baskin Robbins. And then it's, this guy's very intelligent, helps, but he did not know the difference between a water and a gas truck.
Heat of battle, man. The heat of battle.
So that's my number 4.
At number 3, I have a moment from the first Ant-Man movie. It's not, I don't think you're going to have this one, but they're training Scott on how to be the Ant-Man and how to control the ants and everything. And the whole training montage is pretty funny, but the best part is when he's underground and they're like, these are such and such ants. They're really good at building, and there's a shitload of them. And, they're called like fire ants.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, okay. And he sees one, he's talking to it. And then all of a sudden, like 1,000,000 ants show up. And he's just like, oh, and he's like getting crawled on. Oh, and he hits the button and he like explodes out of the fucking ground. And he's still screaming. Oh! They're staring at him. He goes, that was a lot scarier a second ago. He's like halfway into the ground. I thought that was hilarious.
That is pretty funny. So at my number 3, going to Endgame, when they're talking about like all the rules of time travel and everything, and they're trying to figure out like what works, what doesn't, and they start listing off all the movies. It's like Time Cop, Back to the Future, just all those movies they riddle off the top of my head. So this is kind of I'm cheating a little bit here. This is 2, but it's the same scene. I love when they're listing off movies. Rose is going da 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 da, and then they carry on the conversation and just Scott goes, Die Hard. He goes, oh, no, damn it. That's not it. Like, Die Hard's not a time travel movie. But what makes me laugh the most is when he goes, so Back to the Future is bullshit. Like, how you can't like meet your like other self. Just cracks me up. He's like, because he seems like so pissed, like generally like let down. And what's funny too, I want to say, I might be incorrect on this, but I'm going to double check. But I want to say what's even funnier is that the composer of Endgame, I want to say, is actually the same guy who composed Back to the Future. So it's even funnier just because it's like, oh, that is very meta for that being like,
Scott's a baby. He'll grow up.
It's like, someone peed. I don't know if it was baby me or old me or just me. Like, dude, Scott Lang is so funny. And it's all because of Paul Rudd. Like,
oh yeah.
I have really found a newfound appreciation for Ant-Man today. And it feels so refreshing to say that because it's like fun. After you watch this stuff like hours on end and, we love it. We bleed it. But like, sometimes it's like hard to find more stuff, but it's just great. And also, what the hell? I'm going through IMDb just to double check fact check myself on the composer. And I'm sidetracked because looking at Endgame, and the first review I see is 3 out of 10 stars. It could have been better. And this is a featured review. So let me read this. It could have been better. I didn't like that they had to downgrade Thor and Hulk, just make Iron Man and Captain America the ones that save the day on Infinity War when Thor arrives to Earth with the day. What? That review, your grammar could have been better. 1 out of 10 stars, you ass hat. Anyways, that was my number 3.
Scott calls Paxton an ass hat in the first movie. Watch your mouth. I said hat.
That was going to be one of my honorable mentions, actually, because that's funny. It's like, watch his language. It's like, what? I said a hat? Like, yeah. No, that's good, dude.
My number 2 was almost the name of our podcast.
Remind me.
And it was one of the names floating around when we started. It's in Captain America Civil War when Scott grows really big and he's fighting everybody. And then the fight's over and he gets really small or regular size. And he's laying there. He goes, does anybody have any orange slices? It's like, it's got to be his most iconic quote. I think of it constantly.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any orange slices? He just fought the Avengers with the Avengers for the fate of the world or whatever. The first thing he thinks of is food. Like, Scott's such a foodie. I love it.
That's a good one. It kind of made me think too. It's like each character usually has like that one quote everyone brings up, like on your left, orange slices for Scott. We should do another list one day or another episode where we try and figure out what is the definitive quote for, the core characters in the MCU. That could be a fun one to see what we come up with.
Hulk smash.
Iron Man is, I am Iron Man.
Yeah.
You know what is Spider-Man? I am Iron Man. What is Thor? I am Iron Man. But what is Rhodes? Boom, looking for this.
Yeah, just wait for Armor Wars when we find out what that was about.
Ooh, he's a Skrull.
Oh, God.
No, I don't think he's a Skrull.
What was your number 2, Devin?
Ooh, number 2. Now, this one I don't think you're going to have, but this one flew its way up into my top 2. So it's from What If? Oh, what if? What is it going to be? So the zombie episode, not when he is the head. I didn't catch this until I was watching with closed captions. You know, he's making jokes the whole damn time and everything. He's like, he calls the zombie witch a man-eater. He's like, oh, I did it again. Not that moment though. But they're flying away and he has the Strange's cape is one who like helps him flow away because he's literally just a head. And as he flies away, he goes, Wingardium Leviosa. It just made me lose my shit because it's like, it's Harry Potter, man. It's hilarious. And he's a floating head like you see in Futurama with the fucking the cape.
Yeah.
And just it's just so funny. So it is good. Number 2.
Paul Rudd was the best part of that episode.
He was.
And it's not even close. Well, was it Paul Rudd? It almost had to be, but
yeah, that was actually Paul Rudd who did the voice, which is good.
If it wasn't, whoever did Scott, their Paul Rudd impression was the best part. But
actually, it was. You ready for this?
Dave Bautista.
Nobody, because he had nobody.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us here at Earth 894. It's been a hell of a run, but we're officially done now. Goodbye, and see you later.
The people are. They're laughing. They had it hilarious.
He got me with the laugh track.
Now they're cheering. It's glorious. It's so good. People love the joke. It was so good. So good. And then they were like, canceled. None. But we should all remember.
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
That's me with the soundboard. Anywho, what's your number 2?
I did my number 2. It was the orange slices, you silly head. At number 1, my number 1 Ant-Man moment of Ant-Man. Anyone who knows my love for Ant-Man knows what my number 1's going to be. I talk about it constantly. It's my favorite Ant-Man thing possible, and Devin alluded to it earlier. It's when he's working at Baskin Robbins, and the kid's he's trying so hard not to just slap the shit out of this kid. And he's just like, I'll just take a hot pretzel with like mustard dip. He goes, it's Baskin Robbins, man. It's ice cream. And he's like, burger. I'll take a burger then. Goes, oh, whatever's hot and fresh. And then somebody's like, hey, Dale needs to see you in the back. He's like, all right, Kevin, can you help this idiot? And he walks away.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was my favorite thing because the guy was being so dumb. And he's just like, you want to help this idiot? And just leaves. Hilarious.
Customer service and retail in one perfect scene.
Like if you've ever worked with people, it's just like that's the one thing you've always wanted. Just, hey, this moron needs your help. And then walk away. And it just sums up my love for Scott Lang. He just cracks me up.
Dude, it really is. And that's like in the first like 5 minutes of that movie. It really sets a tone for the character so well. Oh man. You know, stuff like that is how I kind of wish the humor was balanced a little bit more in like Thor Love and Thunder, because I think Peyton Reed does a really good job with the writers too, of like having the heartfelt, like sad dad moments, but also like keeping it lighthearted and funny too. It's like a good balancing act. And also I bring it up because Ant-Man's funny, Baskin Robbins. And then I thought of Thor Love and Thunder because of Infinity Cones, because that's got ice cream. And we still have a score to settle. Green ice cream is green apple flavor. At me. Louis could not care less.
No, I was reading something and you said something about green apple infinity cones and you're wrong. Green apple isn't an ice cream flavor.
Yeah, dude. Anything can be a flavor. They have freaking waffle flavor.
You've never had green apple ice cream.
I'm going to find green apple ice cream right now.
You've never had it. I was looking at our Discord.
Apple ice cream. What do you mean I have never had it? I've probably had green apple ice cream before. I have probably had green apple.
You've never had green apple ice cream. Everyone listening right now has never had green apple ice cream because
I
it's not
probably
a
had it.
thing.
It's a thing, dude.
No, it's
I
not.
googled it right now. All right. Well, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it.
It sounds
We're
disgusting.
gonna eat it.
No, I'm not eating it. Ew, yucky.
Well, what if it was sorbet? Or what if it was like what if it's
gelato?
gelato?
Gelato. No, I like chocolate ice cream or good flavors. You know
What about chocolate green apple swirl?
That sounds
what about that?
So incredibly bad.
It's like a chocolate covered, like it's like a caramel apple.
No, it's not.
No, hey, those caramel apples are usually green, and then they throw a bunch of shit on it. Not actual, but
the
like
best part about a
toppings.
caramel apple is the caramel. Once you're done with the caramel, you throw the apple in the garbage. What are you doing?
You just lick the apple. You just lick the caramel.
I don't eat caramel apples, but come on, man. Nobody wants apple ice. Nobody wants it. Nobody's ever had it because nobody wants it.
I just imagine you walking around like a kid with the sucker, but it's just a big ass apple and you're just licking the caramel off of it. And then you're like, oh, well, that was tasty. You just throw a fucking apple and a popsicle stick away. Oh my God.
I can do without the caramel too, man. I'll just eat the peanuts off the end. I'm sure there's like fucking Jolly Rancher green apple ice cream garbage, but there's flaming hot Mountain Dew. Yes, it exists. Nobody's eating this shit, bro. It's not. No. If you like green apple ice cream, message us right now and I will fucking cry. I'm not giving you anything. You don't deserve anything for liking green apple ice cream. Ew, no.
Oh my God. I never thought this would be such a controversial topic on this podcast.
It's such a weird thing. You know what the green ice cream flavor is? It's pistachio. Dan yelled at me because we said it was mint. It's pistachio.
How did I forget about mint as a green flavor?
You
that's
didn't.
My favorite.
We yelled
but
about
it's funny
mint.
That's my favorite ice cream flavor is mint.
Yeah, me too. But we told you, was it Tommy?
I think it was Tommy.
It was either Tommy or it was Mr. Marvel, but I think it was Tommy. And
it was Tommy.
And we told you mint, and you said, no, mint is a lighter green. It's got to be that real deep green like the Time Stone. And I said, no, green apple is not a fucking flavor. So anyways, Devin, my number one was Baskin Robbins. What is your number one?
Oh, man. Oh, lime. I forgot about lime.
That's because lime's not an ice cream flavor. That's why you forgot about it.
Oh, man, Louis, next time I see you, I'm just going to find all the green flavored ice creams I can. And we're going to do a shootout of what is going to be the definitive green flavor for Infinity Cones.
Join us for the Earth 894 live stream of me trying green ice creams going, this is fucking nasty. This is nasty. This is mint chocolate chip, the greatest flavor. This is nasty. You throw some fucking green dye and vanilla, and it's going to be better than anything else besides the mint chocolate chip. Why are you doing this to me?
Oh, man, this is amazing.
Oh, my God.
We're only on the one color out of 6. My number one is from Ant-Man and the Wasp. This moment cracked me the heck up. And it is when they have to go into the school to do whatever their antic is. And Scott gets stuck as a child-sized version of himself, like a little toddler. And it's hilarious watching him run with the hoodie and just trying to like escape the school and see him with a flapping like little kid, when they had that like oversized sweater or shirt and they're running and their arms is flailing. It's so adorable and hilarious at the same time. I love that moment. It is such a funny bit. Killed me the first time, kills me every time. And I think it's just so freaking hilarious. So that is my number one. Scott Lang is a toddler. I call him Toddler Man.
Tot Lang.
Todd Lang. That's a good one. Todd Lang.
Tot Lang.
Tot.
Like toddler.
Tot. Oh.
Like tater tot. Tot Lang.
Sorry, too much green apple ice cream in my ear.
I'm gonna fight you.
Don't talk to me, I'll murder you.
Oh, the pain in my heart.
Pain in my heart.
You're fucking killing me.
Oh my God, man. Well, that was our top 5 list. We got through that pretty quick, I'm not gonna lie.
Honorable mentions. I have at least 3.
Let's do it, man.
One that I'm surprised you didn't have I think your ass looks great. As far as I'm concerned, that's America's ass.
That is good.
Said by Scott Lang himself about Captain America's booty.
I had that on my list of honorable mentions because he's the one who came up with America's ass.
Yes, thick rump.
It's him. He started it. What else do we have?
Flick me.
This goes. Oh man, my mind went so dirty. This goes in line of our ice cream chat when Scott. I just killed Louie. It's when Scott is trying to get Hank to give him when they're in the surveillance van. I'm pretty sure that was in Ant-Man the Wasp. He's asking for the Altoid mints. And he's like, hey, can I have a mint? And Hank's like, no. He's like, come on, can I have a mint? He's like, no. He's like being an asshole to him.
Yeah.
I think it's because he had something in there, right?
I think the suit was in the mint tin.
That's right.
The backup suit.
Right. And it just made me laugh because like literally Hank just keeps talking and then Scott's just so fixated. He's like, but why? I want a bit. This is so funny. It's so great.
So I mentioned the growing and then like exploding out of the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that I loved was they were like, you need to be able to dive through the keyhole, run and then shrink, go through the keyhole and expand on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, I could do that. And he's like running and he just keeps hitting the fucking doorknob hard as shit because he can't shrink. He just keeps hitting the door over and over again. That was hilarious. Or when Hope is telling him, now, do you know how to punch? He goes, yeah, we'll throw a punch. And he like goes to punch her and she fucking bam right in the face. He's like, oh, and she goes, that's how you punch. Like, oh my God.
It's like, of course, I was in jail. Another one that I had as an honorable mention was Scott having that whole bit with Hulk in the diner and they're trying to take the selfie and the kids are like, no. He's like, hey, don't you know who this guy is? And they're like, no. He's like, it's okay. It's fine. And then eventually Scott just goes, just take the goddamn phone. it just cracks me up because it's just like three kids there. He's just like, okay. I'm like, just stop. If this was like rated R, he would have been like, take the fucking phone.
Just take the goddamn phone.
It's so funny.
Oh, that's about all I had. I'm sure there's plenty more, but off the top of my head, because I'm trash, that's what I got.
You're not trash.
I loved him. It's not, I guess it's a moment. I loved when he was on house arrest and he was getting really good at like Rock Band, playing the little drum on Rock Band. And
he had an electronic drum set.
Yeah, he was getting really good with like the basketball hoop on his wall, just shooting his basketball hoop and close up magic. And Wu was like, how did you know? How did you get that card?
It's like, how'd you do that?
And then later on, you see Wu trying to learn close up magic. I thought that was funny.
Dude, and it gave us that awesome moment when, right in is it the third episode of WandaVision, when we see Jimmy Woo and he does like, here's my card. And it's like a magic trick, just like Scott did with like showing something.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like talk about like the little things that just kind of like call back and how like shapes another character. Perfect.
So as far as I know, next week we're going to preview Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any trailers. I haven't seen the teaser. I've seen a few photos of certain things. I've seen the beginning of the trailer with like Scott walking on the sidewalk. Nothing that's going to ruin anything for anybody. But my question to you is, this movie seems to be so much more serious than the first two Ant-Man movies. And I'm worried it's going to take all the charm out of it. Where like you and I have talked, and if Luis isn't in the movie, I'm going to be so very upset. I heard or read or saw a rumor that I'll never remember his name. He's one of the ex-cons. It's not Luis. It's not T.I. It's the other guy, Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga. Yeah,
I heard he's going to be in it, but he's got a different role or something.
Oh, really?
There was another. Who am I trying to think of? Oh, Woo. Do you think like does it seem like they're gonna cut all of people's favorite characters from the Ant-Man movies, like Luis and Woo and the stuff like that, to try and make it a more serious, well-developed movie off the top of your head?
I don't think it's a matter of it making it like tone funny versus serious. I think it's just more so they don't have a spot in the story they want to tell. Because, they're going to the quantum realm. I can't really see Luis or those cons or even Wu like going on the journey into the quantum realm with them for this. And there's Kang. And so it's got to be like people who can like go not pound for pound, but just like the stakes are high or at least higher. So you got to have like calling the big guns. So that's one thing I've been kind of thinking about too, because like Luis, the cons, Wu, all of them, like they're really awesome characters. But I think that if they're in it, because I personally don't know about some of them, to be honest, if they are in it, it's probably going to be in the very beginning of the movie and maybe the end, just like as they're showing up, like what Scott up to now before all the chaos ensues. And so that's where I'd see their only placement. But I'm kind of curious because like Peyton Reed has even said, he's like, they treated it well, like we've like our approach has been like a palate cleanser for ending these phases with Ant-Man movies. But this time we don't want to do that. We want this like to be more like high stakes and everything. So I think that's fine. I think it's cool and all dandy, but I do agree. Like, does it lose its charm? Does it like sacrifice and suffer in a little bit? But I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of surprises from what I've seen, or not what I've seen, but what I've heard. I've heard there's actually some surprise cameos in this movie that haven't leaked yet, at least not onto my radar. So if that's the case, that gets me really excited. They could be funny. They could be serious. Who knows? But you bring up a good point.
I'm just worried. I'm worried that the charm is going to be gone. Those two Ant-Man movies, just Scott being around, he's just got a certain charm to it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say serious, I don't mean like serious versus funny. I just mean his role is more important now.
Right.
And with the more importantness comes less of the fun that we were able to have with the character.
It's kind of like when you're, starting off in a company, right? Or a job and you're like a newer guy, not as many responsibilities. You could be a little more relaxed and have fun, but like if you climb the ladder a little bit and you have more like supervisor, you're a manager, you're a director now, like you have a lot more people you have to, look over or just more responsibilities in your plate. And there's less room for you to kind of like behave and do the same stuff that you did when you were not as like responsible with things. So I'm not too sure. I don't know. The one thing I will say is that I feel very confident that no matter if it's still got the charm or if it is a little bit reduced, this is still going to be a really great experience in the theater and a great time overall just because of the cast. And I am so excited to see Kang. Like this is finally Kang. This is not He Who Remains. This is actually Kang. And I want to see how brutal or how conniving he is. And just, I want to see the big bad. And it's going up against Ant-Man first. So I'm stoked.
I read that Jonathan Majors said that Kang is absolutely nothing like He Who Remains, which breaks my whole heart.
Really?
He Who Remains was awesome.
Yeah.
And then to bring in another character and it's not even close to the same breaks my heart. We'll get more into it next week, but do you want to do the shout outs from our Discord, the people that loved that wanted to share their favorite Ant-Man moments? Let's go with that.
Say my name.
Tony Stank.
Say my name.
Noob Master.
Say my name!
Who?
Say my name!
Mr. Marvel, our good friend, said, "Does anyone have orange slices?"
There you go.
My number 2. And he also said the funniest was every interaction with Agent Wu, which I had in my honorable mentions.
Mm-hmm.
And then the most nerve-wracking was when he was looking out the window in Endgame. It's like, oh, it's all,
the birds.
Yeah, look at everything's, and then just and everything like that. Another moment that I didn't mention, it's also not in here, but I just thought of it. That was badass. Was in context when you watch the first Avengers movie and they're fighting the Chitauri, and they're overwhelmed. What the hell are we even gonna do? And then a fucking big, I call it a sky whale. I always have. A big old fucking armored thing comes out. And they're like, what are we going to do? This is fucking insane. And then Cap tells Hulk, it'd be a good time for you to get angry, Banner. And he goes, that's my secret, Cap. I'm always angry. And he's like, and he takes down the sky whale, and it's like, fucking yes. And then in Endgame, Thanos releases the Chitauri, and there's like multiple sky whales. There's a shitload, right? So one of my favorite Ant-Man moments where he literally says no words is he comes out of the compound as Giant Man, and he's got Rhodey and Rocket and Hulk. And I'm almost positive Hulk was there, and releases them. And when he does Avengers Assemble, you know, he's running and he's like in slow motion because he's so big. But that sky whale comes and he just fucking punches that motherfucker right in the face. And he's like, fucking sky whale dies. It was awesome. I was like,
That was pretty cool.
yeah, you figure it was such a big deal in the first Avengers, and he just took it down like it was nothing.
That was a cool moment.
Yeah, that's one of the cooler moments. That's not as, you know, not funny at all, but
I will say too, that moment, that was everything like I had for a split second. I thought he died. Like, did they just kill him? But you notice he shrinks very, very last minute. You can see it. And then I remember seeing that in theaters for the first time. And literally, you know, like I said in Discord, pun intended, I got blown away because it was so loud. And it was like, oh, wow, so nice. And then bam, hit you. Kool-Aid Man just breaks right through. It was a good time.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
And then our friends over at the Fan Club podcast really loved Toddler Man.
Tyler Man to the root.
Totlang.
Oh, and then also they get all they mentioned Luis's narration scenes. I mean, he's so great. They said they would love to see him collab with Korg. That'd be kind of funny. Hey man, what you been doing? Give that episode of What If going.
You and your what ifs, man.
Dude,
It's a good thing you're not a showrunner at Marvel. We'd have so many what ifs.
you'd have so many terrible what ifs.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, at least you're honest.
hey man, what if they were good? What if they were bad? What if they were bad? The one I said today that I thought was actually kind of funny, and now I kind of want it.
The Guardians.
I said, what if, give me a what if crossover episode with the Fast and the Furious gang, because it's all about family. Because where's the last frontier that they got to do for Fast and Furious? They got to go to fucking space. Who's in space? The Guardians of the motherfucking galaxy. Or the Guardians of the freaking galaxy, except he didn't say freaking.
I think the Fast and the Furious guys went to space already.
They did, kinda. They went to the atmosphere.
Yeah, I don't watch those movies. I'm a Marvel guy.
I think that's all we got for honorable mentions.
I believe that's all we've got, man. I would say if you're listening, send us a little message on Instagram or something. Let us know your favorite Ant-Man moments. How excited are you for Ant-Man Quantumania? Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, you fucking loser. Yeah, that's all I really got today. Devin, what do you think?
I think that's perfect. And, so like Louis said, let us know. Get in contact with us. All the ways you can talk to us are in the show notes. But also, what would really help us out, give us a review. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, which seems to be one of the most popular platforms people listen to Earth 894 every week, give us a review. And if you've already given us a review before, but maybe you didn't comment in your review, only give us the stars, add a comment. And if it's good, or if it's bad, we'll read it on an episode, and you could roast us, make it funny, or we'll really appreciate your kind words. It's all great fun. If you've already rated us before, you can just do a new one, and it just adds that as a new one. It kind of refreshes, so you can always update it. And then if you're on Spotify, like a lot of our good listeners are too, give us a rating. So you have to listen to like 10 seconds or something. We know you've listened to more, so show some appreciation. Let us know. Are we 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, 5 star? The more stars, the merrier. Helps us get more discovered and keep expanding the multiverse. So help us out greatly.
Jar Jar Binks on me there.
What?
5 star?
If you guys want to hear me actually talk like Jar Jar Binks, go check out the Star Wars Jar Jar Binks episode they did a while back. I did a full-on reading of a chapter of a book, and I literally had to look up how to talk like Jar Jar Binks. You could be the judge on that performance. That's all we got, Louis. So, like you said, we'll be back next week, and we're going to be talking about our Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania preview. We'll have a special guest, most likely Brian, and do another prediction. Talk about predictions, see what we guessed right. I need to redeem myself after that awful 0 predictions right for Wakanda Forever. So hopefully I'll get on the board this time. That's it. That's our show for this week. So we'll see you next week.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Goodbye now.
Does anyone have any orange slices?